Albert Park Circuit. It is the Australian Grand Prix. Hello and welcome everybody to Division 2's championship here at the Australian Grand Prix. As mentioned, I'm your host here in the commentator's booth, as always, Fallen Monkeys, joined by my co-commentator, ISRL Esports. Now, Esports, how are you doing today? Are you here with us? Excited for the racing action?
Oh, I'm super excited. Love the track, love the racing that it produces, so I'm looking forward to this race.
No, so am I. It's going to be an exciting one. Now, Division 2 has always brought out some exciting races, but here at Albert Park Circuit, I think it's going to be more the same, if not, and then some, I guess we could say, as we're loading into the short qualifying. Now, I'm just going to make a quick jump here right away, and because I know, based on historical here, those turns 11 and 12, especially along the exit, can be a very troubling point here for a lot of the drivers, regardless of the tier. Now, those are definitely some places I would advise to keep an eye out on, as we've seen in the past. But looking here at the track map and based on previous experience, what are some things that we should be keeping an eye out leading up into the race, as far as the track, as far as the drivers, just anything at all?
Well, one thing you always got to consider, as with most races, aside from the ones that take part in the desert, is weather. Weather can play a part here. Not historically, but we've seen it. Well, Division 4 will take the cake with that. 5 for 5, but
Yep.
also, yeah, like you mentioned, 11 and 12, going through that 11-12 complex. See a lot of guys actually start losing the car around. Hold on 1 second, I gotta remember the names. It's right out of the in sector right turn 5, that quick little quick right-hander. If you catch a little bit of grass on the outside, we've seen a lot of guys in practice sessions we've held over the week. We've seen it in past races and qualifying sessions. Getting a bit of grass unsettles the car to the point where you're just along for the ride, headed straight for the scene of the accident. And another tricky area to watch, because you can take it flat out, obviously coming out of that tight left-hander, and you carry so much speed going through that corner that, like I said, we'll just catch one or two guys out per race.
Oh, definitely, and that's kind of like turns 11 and 12 that we were seeing Faxland go through right now. There's a bit of a reoccurring theme here. They're very high-speed, chicane-like corners that, since you're taking them at such a high speed, if that car gets unsettled, you hit the grass, you clip the curb a little bit too hard, well, you're not going to have enough time to react and slow that car down before you end up in the wall, which is going to bring wing damage, it's going to bring some tire wear, and that's a best case scenario, but more often than not, that does end your race weekend very, very quickly, as we've seen in the past. But oh my, now I was going to say, turns 1 and turn 2, another dangerous moment, as we're seeing Faxland already having started his flying lap, taking a bit of a spin, breaking those tires in very well through turns 1 and turn 2. But I think that's going to be the end of his flying lap as quickly as it started. So I'll switch over to Mivako here, as he just made it through that turn 5 section you were talking about, coming through turn 6 now. Purple first sector, as expected, with the first driver to be out on a flying lap, but on the soft tires, so I would expect to see very, very quick laps from the former Division 3 champion here up in Division 2. Coming through turns 11, turn 12, takes the corners very nicely, and you can see that outside curb, that is the danger zone. If you take that a little bit too hard, you're going to end up in the wall, and best case scenario, you've probably got a red front wing, gonna have to abandon and dive into the pits and get that changed. But for me, Vaco, looks as though he's handled it very well, coming around the final corner now. And let's see what the benchmark lap is going to be here to kick things off in this short qualifying. It's a 1:20.402 for the Ferrari driver. So all in all, not a bad lap to kick things off, if I do say so myself.
Yeah.
Now, interestingly enough, I'm seeing lots of drivers here in these early stages putting on the medium tires. Now, that's a little bit, I'll be honest, at least for myself, a bit of a surprise.
Krishna's around out of turn 2 as well. Second
Oh
driver
my.
caught out by that one tricky spot.
Yeah, so let's take a look. We're seeing Dark coming through it now, and I'll be honest, I think it's that inside curb of turn 2 that is really a troublesome area, as there you saw Krishna just awaiting for Dark to come around. But especially if you take that inside curb, and especially that little green portion, not just the curb itself, in my experience with my own practice and what I've seen, if you put on the gas a little bit too hard, that curb is going to unsettle the car very easily, which I think is exactly what we saw happen to Faxland, what we saw happen, what you saw happen to Krishna there. So, just in part of the very dangerous areas on track, it is another one, and even that final corner, I think, is not something to bat your eye to, because it is very easy, especially on, and this might open a different conversation entirely, on those safety car restarts can be a very dangerous zone and not something you want to be taking lightly, because it is very easy to unsettle the car on the exit of that final corner. Just get a little bit too trigger happy on the acceleration pedal and send that car for a spin. But let's see.
Absolutely.
Yeah, but now just look in here, Mivako still sitting on pole. Soft tire times are looking to be, well, definitely the fastest times here, as we would expect. But as mentioning, lots of medium tires. Now, would you think some of these drivers might be looking to start on the medium tires, or do you think we'll see something a little bit like what we saw in Division 3, which is mostly a soft tire start, and then go from there depending on the strategy calls as the race plays out?
Oh, D-Morts has crashed out of turn 13.
Oh no! Well, here, let's take a look. Who's coming through that? I think this is. Oh, it just missed it as. Well, here, I think I'm seeing. Well, here, I'll ride with Irish New. Oh, well, he's going very slowly through these through this section here. Just want to see. Well, it doesn't matter now. The car has disappeared. It's been towed off the track as it's been safe to do so. But through this corner right over here, we're seeing Cruz come through. I think this is what happened to. This is where D. Morris unfortunately had a moment, and crucially wasn't able to get a time on the board. And oh no! I switched over to Faxland, and basically at the same corner, once again having a spin, losing out on that lap time and losing out on another set of tires in the process. So it seems as though, at least for Faxland, that turn 2 is a very tricky corner for him, and hopefully it's something that he can get resolved here by the end of qualifying and in time for the race, as that could spell a very long race weekend for the Haas driver if he can't get get those issues resolved. But
just trying to see who's on a hot lap here.
I've got Vito here on a hot lap, it appears, coming through the final corner. Now let's see what the Red Bull driver can do here on his first out lap. We know he's got pace. Maybe, well, I was going to say maybe not so much in qualifying, but a 120.760 that puts him up into P2 so far seems to indicate very differently of that, as that's a very solid lap for the Red Bull driver. Now, I'm looking here at the timing tables, as I'll switch over to, I think, Matt's on a flying lap right now. A new reserve here for Division 2 shows a lot of pace in Division 3 through the entirety of the season, and it looks as though on the medium tires really not phased all that much by the pace of Division 2. That's Welsh Maldonado, if you're not sure who we're talking about, up into what was P4, but now P5, as Matt sets the quickest time on the board, a 120.125. But with a 121.5, Welsh Maldonado on your screen right now, struggling to get back to the pits with limited to no fuel, really showing a lot of pace here in her inaugural qualifying in Division 2. So definitely a driver to keep an eye out as this race plays on, to see how she's going to fare in that in this inaugural race with the Division 2 drivers. And I think you saw something there.
Yeah, it's just Michael Fures, aka LB, just moving across the track real quick to get out of the way of Mavako on a very fast lap. Could see a 119 here.
Let's take a look.
Trying to snatch back what was taken from him.
Yeah, we'll keep an eye out, at least on the timing tables. He's about to cross the line right now, so we might see this move soon. And, oh, no, doesn't, oh my goodness. Sorry,
Wow.
Well, for two things, the timing was perfect on that. So Krishna, right where we saw D-Morts have a moment, Krishna equally having a moment as we were riding on board. Thankfully, that just meant his lap is all for naught. But oh my goodness, was looking at the timing. So Mats currently on provisional pole with a 120.125, and Mivako did improve on his time, but not quick enough. It's a 120.126 for P2. So by 1/1000th of a second, it is still Mats sitting on pole, albeit only just, as Mivako was this close to taking that provisional pole away. But did you see something else there?
Yeah, Dark. I was following Dark. Dark was on a hot lap through turn 12, got on the grass, and my heart just got into my throat because I just thought it was all over for him. But he knows the trick. The trick is, I don't know if any of the drivers are out there who don't know this, but if you get on the grass in turn 12 where you know you're going to get on the grass, keep the steering wheel as straight as an arrow.
Yep.
Do not have any steering input whatsoever, because that'll pull you. And once you pull to the right, those rears just start floating like a cloud.
Oh, yeah.
I saw Dark too. He kept the wheel straight, said, all right, you know what? I'll invalidate the lap. I'll throw the lap in the trash. But you know what? He's not throwing the session in the trash. Good job by Dark. I thought it was over.
No,
it was deep in the grass.
That is 100% very good driver awareness from Dark, as, well, like you mentioned, especially anytime you lose the back end, if you try to overcorrect, then that's just going to be amplified by the time the grip comes back to the car. And that's normally how a lot of drivers end up being chucked into the wall. It's just by the time they get the grip, the car is just ready to go the direction you've overcorrected to. And by that point, well, it's just a little bit too late. But we saw Cruz. Oh, sorry. What were you about to say?
I just wanted to mention another new driver we have up here, one of the Maltese Rockets, Efron Tabone. Coming from Div 4, getting a shot here at Division 2 to show he's the AlphaTauri driver in Division 4. He's had a string of good results. Obviously, no one's... what's his name? Kurt Valletta in Division 4. Really just stamping his championship. But Efron Tabone, not to be, I guess you could say, forgotten on pace. And look at this, P3 on debut, so not bad.
Yep, on your screen right now in the Renault, and there we go. As there's a reason why I kept trying to ride on board with the Haas driver of Faxland. Now that he's been able to put a lap together, very quickly jumps to a provisional pole position here with a 120.030, and all through that, Irish Nude Potato crosses the line, not quick enough, but that's by 9/1000ths of a second to Faxland. It's a 130.039 for the AlphaTauri driver, but I'm looking at how close these times are between all these drivers, and this has got me really excited for what we're going to see here, especially once the race starts, just given how close these times are. Lots of drivers very close in pace, and even some of these new drivers that we've seen in other tiers showing that they might have the pace to just jump in and compete right away. But I guess, of course, between qualifying and the race, they're two completely different animals. Some drivers do have that qualifying pace, but maybe lack on that race pace consistency. But some drivers are also the other way around. They can just keep it consistent around the track.
A couple of show notes I wanted to mention.
Please.
For those of you that may just watch the Tier 2 race and not maybe in the Discord or in the league themselves, you will be missing a couple of faces. And not just a couple of faces, we're talking about really fast drivers. And that's talking about Assassin, AJ Wuhan, and Nathan JB. The Williams brothers and Assassin have in fact gotten the call up to Division 1. So Assassin's already done a couple races in Div 1, but Nathan JB and AJ Wuhan later on today will get their debut and their shot at the higher tier in ISRL. So they're moving on. That's why you see this normally you see those Williams guys right there at the front of the grid. They are absent, and with good reason.
Oh yeah, like we've seen their pace in Division 2 all season so far, and just even last season as well. So it's great to see them getting the call up to the main event. And for those who were tuning in to see the, I guess I'll call them the CRL brothers race in the Williams, I mean, of course, please stay tuned to this race because it's going to be a fantastic one.
Absolutely.
But you want to make sure to tune in at 3 p.m. Eastern Time in order to catch them in their inaugural race in Division 1 to see how they compete against the likes of Izat Kush, Sweet Crown 19, and all the other Division 1 drivers we have there. But enough about that, because we still have, we still have all of the race for Division 2 as well as the end of qualifying here to finish up. And it looks as though Dark is now the new provisional pole sitter with a 120.011. And these timings between the top three have just gotten closer and closer as qualifying has moved on. And are we going to see more drivers maybe making a push for that top time? And maybe make a push for the pole position before this race is done. I'll jump with Chris Nerazzurro, who's currently in 17th, but look, was looking to put a fastest lap, but I think maybe took that corner a little bit too hard, bumps the wall a little bit. Doesn't look like it gave him any wing damage, but I think being 6/10 up on his lap, I think he might need to abandon this lap and maybe reset and get a new one up on the table. But now with 2 minutes to go, that could prove to be a bit of a costly mistake for the Williams driver here, as now he definitely won't have time to dive into the pits and get another lap in. So is going to have to stay out on those. All right.
And there it is.
Yep, there we go, and that shows exactly why you need to be careful on turns 11 and 12, if I've got my numbers right, because if you're not, that is exactly what can happen, as we saw on stream, albeit that was some interesting lines that he took through the corner there, all things considered, trying to get to the line as quick as possible, I believe.
That was never going to work. You just you throw the balance of the car off there.
Oh,
you know
yeah.
what I mean? Like, especially because you have a car set up to take those chicanes, not take a straight line. And then when you get the grass on the tires, you see what we talked about earlier, the overcorrecting, and it was barely a tap. That wheel just see you later.
Yeah, exactly, and that's once again just due to the high speeds you take through that corner. Just a tiny little love tap on the wall can mean the end of it, just from the force of the car just tapping that wall a little bit, where normally on the slower corners it might just bounce off and continue onwards. But let's see here, is this going to be a decent lap? Well, it does go faster for Vito, but not quick enough to move on or move up a position as he stays in 9th. And now we're down to the nitty-gritty here of qualifying, less than 30 seconds to go. We're already seeing some drivers maybe who aren't able to get out in time, taking that early retirement, gonna sit on the sidelines and just watch this qualifying order play out. And let's see, Cruz, I think he's about to finish a lap. How is this gonna be? Does move up, does go faster, up into P8 for Cruz. So that's not a bad lap here on his, what I can only assume is going to be his final lap of the session. But there we go, we have hit the end of qualifying. Now, it looks as though just about every driver here is just either finishing a lap, starting a lap. Synchro just crossed the line, and that's a 120.420, good enough to take that P8 right away from Cruz. And let's see, who was that who just set a lap? That was Laparta, who takes that P8 right away from Synchro. That's a 120.297. So fast little laps, and P8 has switched hands about 3 times over the last, I would say, 10 seconds or so between these drivers. As Welsh Maldonado hits that retirement, not able to improve Goulby starting in 16th, but definitely has some race pace, at least from what we can see. But it's still Irish Newt Potato on that, well, not still, Irish Newt Potato, I think, just set that lap to take that provisional pole. And we'll see if will Krishna have anything to say about it. Does go faster, up into 4th. for the Renault drivers, so solid lap, and I think that's pretty much it for qualifying. So very quickly, at the last possible moment, the driver on your screen, Irish Nude Potato in the AlphaTauri, will be starting on pole position, setting that fast lap when it mattered most, right at the end of the session, and that's a 1:19.922 as the fastest lap time here at the end of qualifying. But it seemed as though pole position changed hands at least 4 different times over the course of this qualifying session. So this has got me excited for these battles that we might see here come race time, if the consistency can be kept from these drivers.
Yeah, it's close at the front, so expect this race to be interesting.
Oh, it's definitely going to be interesting, and as these races have shown, expect the unexpected, because we never know what's going to happen. Now, for the drivers, I'm kind of hoping that we're going to see a dry race, because this might prove to show the drivers at the quickest pace, with the maybe proving to show the most overtakes as well if we do see a dry race. But weather can, of course, play a factor here in Australia, as Asunik, you mentioned here at the early stages of qualifying. But to take us through the qualifying order, it is Irish Nude Potatoes starting on pole, with Dark starting on the front row of the grid alongside him. Faxland coming in third, Krishna in fourth, Matt's rounding out the top 5 with Mivako in sixth, Ephraim Tabone in 7th, Laparta in 8th, Synchro in 9th, and Cruz rounding out the top 10. Free choice of tires will be Michael Fierez in 11th, Vito in 12th, V-Mark in 13th, Jordan in 14th, Lorenzo in 15th, Welsh Maldonado in 16th, Chris Nerazzurro in 17th, and D. Mortz, without a time on the board, will be starting from the back of the order in 18th.
Well, early indications from Albiku in the chat say that it was a dry quali and a cloudy race, so track temperature should be nice and cool, so maybe the tire deg won't be as bad as we saw in Division 3. Obviously, tires like cooler track. Yeah, it is cloudy, look at that.
Yep. So, solid weather report from our new in-house, our in-house weather report man for this week, Albiku, giving us the hot facts as we go, and it does look like it's going to be a cloudy race, and oh no, Chris Nerazzurro, you can't be doing that. Ready's up before the before we get the indication from Jordan, and unfortunately for next week, if he is back in this Division 2 seat, that will be a qualifying ban for the Williams reserve driver here, as definitely can't hit that ready up button that quickly here in Division 2. But to the dismay of potentially a lot of the drivers, we are jumping in right away to the formation lap. And I'm going to take a moment here. We've taken us through the order, but I want to see what different tire strategies these drivers are going to be opting for. So with the free choice of tires, the top 10 are going to be starting on the soft, since that's where they set their quickest lap times. Elbiku, Michael Fierez in 11th, will be putting on the softs as well, so probably shooting for a soft to hard strategy. But Vito and V-Mark opting for the medium tires here to start off the race. Now, that's, the medium tires weren't bad for the actual race, but I know in my practice I really didn't like them all that much.
Hated them.
But if you're putting on the medium tires, what would really be the strategy here? Because, of course, if you're putting the soft to hards can work. And, of course, if you're like Lorenzo starting on the hards, that's a reverse strategy, hard to softs. But if you're doing mediums, are you committing to the 2-stop, or do you think you can maybe make a 1-stop work starting from those medium tires?
You can make a 1-stop work, but safety cars. Because
True.
If you start on the mediums, you're generally going, well, I'm 2-stopping, medium, soft, medium, either way. But as we've seen in this, it'd be almost weird if we win a whole race here at Albert Park without a safety car.
No, that is, I'm gonna have to agree with you there. I didn't want to bring up the that famous the word that starts with an S, the safety cars, but of course this corner we're seeing right here, all the drivers go through, as we saw in qualifying, can be a dangerous zone. We went through a lot of these danger zones earlier, But with the amount of corners we listed off as danger zones, I feel as though we probably could have just taken the whole track map of Albert Park, slapped that on the screen, and just written danger zone right in the middle to indicate that. Because every corner, except for maybe a select few, are corners to keep an eye out. But there we go.
That's what entices the drivers with it. It's a track that if you can nail it, it's satisfying. And if you got a car underneath your butt, it's fast and you have a lot of fun. It is technical. It seems simple, but these drivers know what they're doing.
Oh yeah, and it's a very high risk, high reward type circuit, and as you said, I think that's why the drivers enjoy it so much. But we've got everybody lined back up on the grid now, and we are just about ready to get set for 29 laps around Albert Park Circuit. It's the Australian Grand Prix kicking off as soon as the 5 red lights go out, and we are up to 3 lights, 4 lights, 5 red lights. And we're off to kick off the race, as it looks to be a decent start from the leaders, but Faxland getting what seems to be a pretty nice start early on. Oh my goodness, my timing table's already going crazy, and it's Dark here in the lead, taking that first P1 from Irish Snoot Potato, who's falling down the order a little bit, but Mivako getting a nice jump off the start, going side by side with Faxland, and we have a safety car here to kick off the race.
No.
And Mivako taking a 5-second penalty for a severe collision on Faxland. And I'll be honest, I didn't quite see what that severe collision was, even though this was the battle we had on screen. But Asunik, maybe you can give me a little bit of insight. What brought out the safety car here this early?
I could not tell you. It had to be a debris caution. We saw, I think it was Krishna, not sure. Yep, Krishna with end plate damage, doesn't have anything on the car. Ephraim Tabone down in 18th, massive wing damage. Lots of these cars are missing a bunch of those wingly bits that let the car stick throughout this track. A lot of contact happened as soon as the safety car came out too, because obviously once you see that safety car, you got to think, especially if you're in a heated battle, you got a guy next to you, safety car comes out, like, who has the position?
Yeah.
So everybody kind of checks up, and it's that Constantina effect. Check, 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 contact. And it's pretty much what happens, just chain reaction, just everybody.
Yeah, I believe so, and I know right around when the safety car restarted, or when the safety car came out, or I'll be honest, I didn't even realize until you had mentioned the safety car was out. But I know Mivako and Faxland were basically in a side-by-side battle through all of that. And I was just about to make a comment about how I believe it was Mivako that went a little bit deep in that battle. So I think it was just, at least as far as that 5-second penalty is concerned, really, really unfortunate for the Ferrari driver, as I think it was just wrong place, wrong time. But look at this. Look at the amount of drivers here that went into the pits from P12 all the way down to P18, took a pit stop. Now, I feel as though a lot of these drivers maybe just looking to get off the soft tires that they had started with. Matt's putting on the hards, Laparkta and Krishna putting on the mediums, Diamort's opting for the hards, with Vito and Chris Nerazzurro opting for the mediums as well. Now, I really don't think all those drivers got caught up into incidents, if I'm being completely honest. So maybe drivers using this early safety car just to get that initial pit stop in, so they don't have to worry about getting that mandatory pit stop done a little bit later. But I do think it is a little bit early to get it done. But of course, I mean, I guess a free pit stop is a free pit stop at the end of the day.
Yep, I can tell you the odd Matt's pit just to change tires, the Parked pit just to change tires, as well as Demort's. Vito, Ephraim Tabone, and Krishna all pitting to also fix front wing damage. Ephraim Tabone going soft to soft, Vito going medium to medium, and Krishna electing with the soft to medium strategy.
Okay,
That's going to throw a monkey wrench into everybody's strategy, especially guys like Krishna, who started towards the front, but they do have their lot of tires in, so Ephraim Tabone's kind of put himself in a bad spot, but with those fresh softs, I mean, he can extend to about lap 10, lap 12 maybe. Seems we're under safety car conditions, and just jump on the hards and just try and finish it out.
Oh yeah, so I think Ephraim Tabone is really is really just sticking with that initial strategy, just getting that wing change, and going to be looking to get that jump off the safety car restart. And this does bring up another little talking point as we are continuing on the safety car, and it's something that we saw it in Division 3. We saw a big incident in Division 3 last year on the safety car restart. And this is something that's similar to the French GP circuit we had last week. Under the safety car restart, drivers are going to have to be extremely careful and maybe side a little bit more on the cautious side rather than the aggressive, looking to make that overtake right off of the restart. Because as you can see, your penultimate corner, you take it down in second gear when you're in racing speed, and it's going to be even more of a kerfuffle when all the cars are bunched up together under the safety car restart. Now, I don't know if you've got any different input, but I feel the strategy, especially under the restart, is just be cautious. It's a long race, especially this early on, and maybe not push for that quick overtake off the safety car restart, as the safety car is coming in this lap.
People in the chat just wondering if you could just pull up the position change.
Oh, yeah, of course. Sorry about that, everybody watching at home. Here we go. I've got the position change here early on, and it looks as though Krishna and Ephraim Tabone are the biggest movers downwards with those pit stops that they took. And Dark up a position, Irish Smooth Potato down 1 after the nice start. But Cruz, the driver on your screen, up 5 positions here, along with V-Mark. So a solid restart from them. But speaking of race starts, we're going to be kicking off the race start, and not much room was left from Dark under the safety car restart between him and the safety car. But we are back to going green, and it looks as though all these drivers did get away fairly cleanly, as we've got a little bit of a gap between the front two, with everybody else trailing behind. But Michael Fures getting very close to Synchro, gonna try to get a move done around the outside here of turn 3. Yep, Synchro goes deep, but now we're 3 wide through this next section. There's contact between Synchro and V-Mark now, as Welsh Maldonado takes that free position thanks to that. And Synchro really falling down the order here from this safety car restart, maybe not getting that heat in the tires as much as he would like, and now being pressured from the likes of Jordan. But what happened to Krishna here, as he's fallen way down the order? And there he is on your screen now. That's some end plate damage for the Renault driver, so not what he was hoping for. Vito overtaking D-Morts here right before turns 10 or 11 and 12, I believe, those high-speed chicanes. So crucially able to get that move done. Laparta overtaking Lorenzo down this what is normally a DRS back straight to go up into 11th. But we've got moves happening here, and I think the drivers were kind of heeding our warning. Take that restart a little bit more cautiously, and then make the moves once the heat has been put into the tires a little bit more, and push from there. But now we've got a little bit of a gap between the top 5 and the rest of the grid. Michael Fures has a nice little train of cars behind him, but doing a good job holding on, as we have a lead change. Irish Nude Potato overtaking Dark through turns 3 and 4. So the AlphaTauri driver now leading the race, taking that lead back after losing it off of the start of the race. Dark falling down in second. And Faxland, I believe, is now going to want to get involved with this battle soon enough, as he's really closing up the gap with those soft tires, getting very close, and now 5/10 behind the Red Bull driver of Dark.
Mavaco's not far behind Faxland either, and Cruz line to stern with Mavaco, so they're all trying to keep themselves in that gap. So obviously, I don't want to sound like a broken record, obviously when the DRS is active, could see training going on, a little bit of just cars stuck behind one another, but there's a huge gap from Cruz to Albicu.
Yeah, and that's what I was mentioning. Albicu, or Michael Fures, as you'll see on the timing tables, really closing that gap up, as Mats, I think, had a moment through turn 12, as we were talking about. But now we've got this nice little train of cars, as DRS is enabled. Synchro, it appears, is starting to get some heat in those tires finally, and trying to make a push on Welsh Maldonado, but just unable to close up enough here on this lap, but does get, I believe, or maybe not DRS at this point in time. Going to have to wait through turns 11 and 12 to really see that DRS play into effect, but there's a lot of pressure from the Racing Point driver here, as Welsh Maldonado, I think she's doing all she can to hold off these soft tire runners, as she started on the medium tires and sticking with those tires to her through her scheduled normal pit stops. Laparta, I was just saying Laparta up into 10th, overtaking V-Mark through turn 6, I believe. So we'll be going up into 10th, but V-Mark keeping the pressure on, staying within half a second.
Yeah, if Welsh Maldonado, if she can keep these cars behind her, Synchro's not going to be patient. We already seen that earlier. But if she could just keep these guys behind her, she can make them chew up their tires, and they'll just fade eventually. But Synchro, like I said,
going down the inside. But Welsh Maldonado had to go a little bit deep to defend, and they're still going side by side. What a view we have on screen of this battle, as this is now 3 corners, and it looks as though Synchro going around the outside, getting a little bit more traction. There was a little tiny bit of contact, which might open the door now to Jordan to get this overtake done, as the soft tires are really starting to show their pace difference here. But Welsh Maldonado defending very well through the likes of Jordan, and will hold on to that 8th position. But for how long? As you can see them now going side by side, and the move does look like it's going to be made. That is Jordan up into 8th, but Welsh Maldonado still keeping a nose in there, but really starting to fall down as these soft tires are, like I said, starting to show their pace a little bit more than the medium tires. And yep, here we go. Another move done. Welsh Maldonado down 3 positions in the span of basically a lap now, down in 10th, but it is a different strategy she is running compared to some of these other drivers on the grid.
I don't know if popular contrary belief of what happens in real life, this game, a lot of drivers like this track because you can actually make moves the sides in the DRS zone. So you're going to see a lot of unconventional overtakes you might not see on the telly at home, but which you'll see on our broadcast of this race, because the game just allows us to somehow just have these close battles. So
oh, definitely, and I think if I was just gonna make a point about that, as Dark is diving into the pit stops here. We've got this position change. I want to get back to the tires. Dark putting on the hard tires. Probably going to try to go to the end of the race, but I do think potentially just here at Albert Park, it is a bit of a wide track, so it does actually allow through some of these corners to have these side-by-side battles where you're not just forcing a driver inside or forcing a driver outside. You've got enough room to fit 2 cars on the track, even through these corners, and whether you're taking the outside line or the inside line, you can get these overtakes done. So just as a little bit of a point with that, it's not something I thought about, but we saw that already through the penultimate corner and the final corner. Not really places we see moves in real life F1, but we've already seen some moves here with the drivers you've got at least on your screen now, and that was Synchro who got the move done, and then Jordan who saw that door open through the final corner as well. But back to some battles on track. We might see an overtake here from Ephraim Tabone here with the help of DRS. But of course it is a little bit of a train, as Vito did also get DRS on V-Mark. So I think Ephraim Tabone settling behind the Red Bull car, waiting for his opportunity to strike, as he's very, very close, but just can't get that move done here down into Sector 3. But maybe down the start-finish straight, we might see an overtake done, as if you do get DRS. Oh no, that's... I'm going to cut myself off here. It's Krishna out of the race, and we have a virtual safety car here out on lap 9 for the Renault of Krishna, who, look at that on the mini-map, it's those famous turns 11 and 12, taking another victim here, the high-speed chicane.
The Cozy Complex.
Yep, the Cozy... the Cozy Complex, as Sunik is calling it there. showing its teeth once again as we are under virtual safety car. We do have the race neutralized, and I think
Vaca was pulling in Faxlin there at the end, but now he does have that penalty for making contact with Faxlin, so he's gonna have to serve that in the pits. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it.
Oh no, so we'll have to keep an eye out on that and how much that's going to affect his race. But back to the racing on track. We are back to going green, and Synchro getting a nice run here on Michael Fures, making a move down the inside through this corner. They're still going side by side here once again, and right behind, it was Laparta and Jordan who had a nice little battle, and I think it was, looks as though Laparta did make that move on Jordan, if I recall correctly. And I think we're now here at the changeover period where the medium tires are going to start showing their pace much more than these soft tires, as we're starting to see these soft tire runners take their scheduled pit stops, and I think a lot of them are going to be opting for the hard tires. And oh no, another one turns 10 or 11, 12. I'm always getting my numbers mixed up here. But another virtual safety car here, as the Cozy Complex turns 11 and 12, taking another victim here. That's 2 and 2 laps for that corner.
She's hungry.
Yep. I guess these sacrifices in Division 3 just weren't enough. Looking to take more here in Division 2, as drivers are just eking out as much time as they possibly can, really pushing that high-speed corner complex. And it's a high-risk, high-reward corner, and at least now we've seen 2 drivers that risk has not paid off, as they are getting very early starts to next week's race preparation. And yeah, probably feeling a little bit sore after that. Oh yes, especially with Baku.
11 and 12, if you don't carry enough speed through that corner, you're just a sitting duck.
Oh yeah,
it is a DRS zone on exit at 12, and if you have a crap line through there, you're missing so much top end speed heading down into turn 13. Or I don't know if they count it is turn 13. They don't count the kink. I don't know why they count the Austrian kink. But if you don't have that perfect line through there and pushing, you're just a sitting duck and you have no time.
Yep. Now I did notice, I want to keep an eye out on the penalties. So I did see somebody take a drive-through for speeding under the safety car. Not what you were hoping to see here with the virtual safety car, but I'm not too sure who did get that penalty. It might have actually been Laparta, as I do see a Haas in the pit lane, but no new tires on for that Haas car. So I think Laparta unfortunately did get a bit of a drive-through, as that's the exit of turn 1 into turn 2. The area we saw Faxland through qualifying have a moment. That takes their first victim, and we have another virtual safety car, and this is 3 in 3 laps here for the Division 2 race, as now here on lap 11 it's all kicking off, and drivers really struggling through these corners, especially now that we're seeing the pit stops. I think maybe those with the used softs, or these tires that are a little bit more wear, starting to feel the grip, and even those maybe having put on new tires, just not getting the heat they were hoping for. But we are back here under virtual safety car temporarily, as we look to get that car out of the way. But now
I don't know what's in the tires down at AlphaTauri, but Jordan's pitting. But I mean, Irish New Potato, 11 laps. Like we've said, we saw the pace of New Potato at the end of last season. We've expected this kind of run from him, and finally today he's really putting one together. So you like to see it from him. He was very competitive at the end of season 3, and hasn't just had that result yet.
Oh no, and yep, and once again through the VSC, some more drive-through penalties being handed out. The in-game stewards here at Albert Park really not doing anybody favors. But now that you mention it, I did notice there was that an AlphaTauri on the screen that kind of just was away from everybody else. I'm thinking, okay, who's this AlphaTauri that was oh so far behind? But contrarily to what I was thinking, it's not an AlphaTauri that's way far behind. It's an AlphaTauri that's basically run away with the lead. And that's Irish Snoot Potato, who I think maybe due to the help of keeping a clean race and not taking his pit stop yet, is able to grow a fantastic gap to the drivers behind, and is still staying out once again. And I think
he's not even pushing. He's got full ERS. He is quite literally cruising right now.
I'll be honest. I think well, we've seen Irish Snoot Potato in the past, and I think wasn't it Baku last year that he really had that race to remember. I think Irish Snoot Potato, I'm getting myself distracted, but we know he's good with his tire wear, so I think he's maybe another one of those drivers that we can keep an eye out to really make that soft to medium strategy work. And I think that's exactly what he's looking to do, rather than go soft to hards and push those tires, just have that gap built, knowing that at some point with these pit stops, he's going to have maybe some medium tire runners holding up the field, and just extend a little bit longer and put on the medium tires to go to the end of the race. And of course,
Walsh Maldonado under pressure from VMark, but up to second for her.
But meanwhile,
Oh yeah, sorry, my bad.
I was just gonna say VMark having to watch out as well, because right behind VMark is a From to Bone on those 11 lap old soft tires. And I think as well, these the safety cars and the virtual safety cars that we're seeing have really paid dividends to some of these drivers who have opted to stay out on the soft tires, really helping them make this potential soft to medium strategy work. And there we go. Irish Snoot Potato is diving into the pits here to finish lap 13, start lap 14. Cruz gets an overtake on Dark off screen as I'm just switching over to that now. The Red Bull falling down a position, the Mercedes moving up, and here we go. Welsh Maldonado leading the race for the first time here in Division 2, with VMark staying very close behind, and From to Bone got very close, but does take that pit stop at the same time as, oh my goodness, Irish Snoot Potato. What's going on with my words here? But now Irish Snoot Potato putting on the mediums, but falling down the order down into 7th, and has a little bit of his work cut out for him, as he's once again behind the Red Bull of Dark, who took that earlier pit stop to put on these soft tires. But still very close, and I think maybe with the tire pace advantage, we might see a move from the AlphaTauri driver to take that position right back.
Yeah, D-Mort's all the way up. We saw him crash out qualifying, sitting on the podium right now. Obviously, he hasn't hit yet, but really making the strategy work for him. Carved his way through, looking at a good result as we stand now.
Oh yeah, but still, you can see Foxland keeping close within 2 seconds, and trying to close that gap up even more. Dark takes a penalty, so that's not going to help him out. But I think right now the eyes are a little bit on this potential. Oh well, actually, just as I switch away from it, Irish Snoot Potato gets the move done on Dark to go up into 6th, so not even a lap in, and that is Irish Snoot Potato getting that position from the Red Bull driver, and I think that shows the pace difference between the hards and the medium tires. But now Mivako putting some pressure on Dark, but it is a little bit of a DRS train, as they all got DRS on each other. So I don't think we're going to see too much of a move here for Mivako on Dark here, at least as far as this lap is concerned. But Irish Snoot Potato, look at this, going side by side with the Mercedes of Cruz, and he does get that, or I thought he got the move done. Oh, there's a little bit of contact. Irish Snoot Potato goes off track, and this opens the door for Dark to take that position right back. And is Mivako going to make a lunge? No, Mivako just wasn't close enough. But all that work that Irish Snoot Potato had done a lap ago has all been undone, as got a little bit overzealous trying to overtake Cruz, but very quickly gets ahead of Dark, and now once again needs to close that gap back up to Cruz. And I think maybe a little bit of red in the AlphaTauri driver's eyes, as once he gets back, he's definitely going to want to get that move done and really stick it to the Mercedes driver, so to say.
Oh, absolutely. A little bit of too aggressive there. Running different races, you know, so Irish Sweet Potato's got to worry about catching Faxon. He's not even worried about Cruz at this point.
Yeah, but I mean, but for Cruz as well, I think Cruz is looking to do that one stop, so he's fighting for position here. As much as he knows the driver behind doesn't have penalties, I mean, you're still holding off for position. But here we go. One lap later, take two, and it looks as though the move was done well before the corner this time around to save this side-by-side action. But right behind, Dark and Mivako going side-by-side. Dark bails out of this corner, I think, after seeing what happened a lap ago to the likes of New Potato and Cruz not wanting to get involved with that. So Mivako does move up into 7th. Dark falls down the order in 8th. So that's 2 positions for the Red Bull driver in a span of 2 laps, as maybe a little bit more tire management for the Red Bull driver here, not necessarily looking to fight some of these drivers in this stage of the race.
I look for these 2 at the front here. As Cozy pointed out in our chat, these 2 probably most likely will be going to the softs here, so they're going to have... They might drop down the order here once they get to the pit stops, but the tire advantage they're going to have towards the end of the race with the lighter fuel load and everybody else on the harder compound tires, they're going to chew through this field.
Oh yeah, and that's just for clarification, this is Welsh Maldonado and V-Mark you're talking about, right?
Yes, correct, the top 2.
Yeah, the top 2 here, which have been doing a very good job sticking with each other, but V-Mark seeming to be, I mean, staying within half a second, but at least from what I'm seeing, not really looking to make that overtake push here at this stage in the race. I think, honestly, V-Mark maybe using Welsh Maldonado a little bit, just to stay with her, help him tow him around the track to allow for a better exit out of the pits, and maybe staying out hoping for that one last safety car that might completely turn its race on its head for these 2 drivers. But of course,
Faxon's on the move.
Yeah, I was gonna say the gaps are starting to form, but Faxland on those 6-lap-old medium tires really making a push to get back into the podium, and you can see how close he is to Demorts. And funny enough, right as I say, oh my goodness! Right as I switch over to this, it's hard to say what happened because I only caught the end of it. I don't know if there was contact between the Williams and the AlphaTauri, but I saw V-Mark and Welsh Maldonado come together, and from a very strong position with the both of them. I was just about to say that the move was finally done, but that's V-Mark out of the race, Welsh Maldonado falling down the order and now forced to make a pit stop, and now Demorts finds himself in the lead of the race after all of that. But no safety car, no virtual safety car out for that incident, as to maybe this, I was gonna say to the happiness or dismay of some of these drivers. But oh my, controversy here on lap 17 of the Australian Grand Prix, as honestly, this is where I wish we could have instant replay for these streams. I would love to be able to myself see what happened and give everybody watching at home a little instant replay of the incident. But unfortunately,
I mostly want to know what happened as well.
Yeah, because I was, thankful I saw the move done, and I switched over to that battle just to try to get an idea of the overtake. But right as I switched over to Welsh Maldonado, the damage had basically been done, as I just saw right in front of the Williams driver was the AlphaTauri of V-Mark, and right as I switched over to them, it was just the crash into the wall. So I saw the end of it, but not the cause of it, unfortunately. But still, maybe something the stewards might end up having to look into as during their meeting a little bit later this week as they run over the incidents.
Faxon getting impatient with Demorts, but all this is doing is helping Irish New Potato just close the gap ever so slightly, chipping away, chipping, just taking as much as he can out of him. And he does have 3 laps fresher medium tires. That's going to play, doesn't seem like much, but towards the end of this race, that's going to play dividends. In
Oh yeah.
advantage.
Oh yeah, especially we've got 10 laps to go, so that'll make 18, well, around 17, 18 lap old tires for Faxland compared to 13, 14, 15 lap old tires for Irish Newt Potato. Took
Which
a
is
quick
essentially
break
the
just to
light.
see, yeah, I mean, took a quick break on that just to see From Tabone and Jordan battle it out as they were going side by side through the corner section of turns 4, turn 5 there, and it was From Tabone who did get the overtake done. But now back here to this Faxland versus D-Morts. P1, P2. D-Morts staying out one more lap on those hard tires to the dismay of Faxland, I can imagine, as Faxland really wanting to get this overtake done, really hoping D-Morts was going to dive into the pits. But I think maybe in a lap or two we might see this move, we might see this pit stop finally happen. But look at this, Mivako making a move on Cruz here, going around the outside and gets that move done with DRS well before turn 3. So up into 4th is the Ferrari driver, as this is for position as well, as they're both on 10 lap old hard tires, definitely looking to go to the end of the race. But we've got maybe a podium here for Mivako if things can stay the way they are. As we know, D-Morts is going to have to take one last pit stop. Now, crucially, after getting that wing change a little bit further down the order is Welsh Maldonado trying to go around the inside, which turned into the outside of Michael Fures for P12. But Michael Fures doing a very good job defending on that move, and will stay in 12th position here.
You almost want D-Morse to stay out for just one more lap, just to see Irish Sweet Potato.
Yep. You got your wish there, Sunik, as it is D-Mort staying out one more lap at the very least. So let's see, will Faxland get a move done? Very, very close. Maybe with the help of DRS down this next straight, we might see a move, but he's going to have to watch out, because creeping very quickly is the AlphaTauri. But now this move might finally get done. They're going side by side now, but Faxland just had the better track position. D-Mort's forced to go wide into turn 3, and just was kind of left to be a sitting duck. And Faxland does get up into the lead, but now the question is, will Irish Snoot Potato be able to overtake D-Morts quick enough to not allow Faxland to build that gap? Yep, going forward here, made the interest in the move, but I think the gap just completely closed, and Irish Snoot Potato is an experienced driver, so was able to very clearly see that gap was going to close and that move was not going to happen. But here, with the help of DRS, you see that flap open. Will this move be done? No, not able to close enough on D-Morts to get that overtake done. But all through that, Faxland's gap is now up to 1.6 seconds. Irish Nude Potato really trying to get this overtake done here. D-Morts staying out for another lap here on the hard tires. There's no way he's going to be able to go to the end on those tires. I don't believe it. But there we go. The move does finally happen. So Irish New Potato up into P2, but now has 1.7 seconds to close up before he can even think about trying to make an overtake on Faxland. But that gap already closed down to, well, switching between 1.3, 1.6, depending on where these drivers are. So this is going to make things very exciting, I believe, by the end of the race, especially with the tire wear difference.
I forgot about that. Faxland has a 3-second penalty.
Oh, look at that. So at least, yeah, so for Irish New Potato, I didn't even realize that penalty, but you see it on your screen there for those watching at home. Oh my! Irish New Potato had a moment that even stressed us out in the commentator's booth there. That was nearly the end of it. Right as I was about to mention, he's really just got to keep a 3-second gap to Faxland, and he's got this more or less in the bag, but now it's going to be a little bit closer as this gap is down to 2.7 seconds, 2.8 seconds, and we know Faxland is a very consistent driver for the Haas team, and is able to pump those laps in as we've seen in the past. So now this is making things very interesting as we're starting lap 23.
Bavato's closing in on Demorts as well.
Oh yeah, look at that. I'm just keeping an eye out on some of these other moves as Laparta does overtake Chris Nerazzurro on track with the help of DRS, it looked like. So Laparta moving up into a top 10. We know we're used to seeing him up the grid fighting for those podiums, but still up in the 10th, but now has a long ways to go before potentially any possibility of pushing an overtake on Jordan. But Ephraim Tabone as well, putting a lot of pressure on Vito. But Ephraim Tabone, probably knowing Vito does have 3 seconds in time penalties compared to the Renault driver on your screen right now, who doesn't have any. So I don't want to say Ephraim can be a little bit comfy here in P8. Oh, but oh no! Oh no! Maybe a bit of a commentator's curse as I switch on board to him, as right where we saw Irish New Potato have a moment, that was Ephraim Tabone having more or less the same moment, but unfortunately was not able to save it in time, and you can see that wing damage on the Renault, as that's probably going to be another pit stop for the Renault driver. Sorry?
Eric, what you're going to see, like you did towards the end of the first stint for several drivers, is the tire wear. Might not seem like it on the track, but as soon as you get a bit of curb with these worn-out tires, that's when you start seeing these retirements, these spins, these mistakes. The tire wear starts, the deg builds, the grip. Look, you see Irish New Potato again almost lose it coming out of 3 and 4.
Yep, and that's... No, I mean, that's I completely agree with you, even though, I'll be honest, that the tire wear, we made a point about it earlier on with the safety car, but as quick as that point went, at least for me, it was in one ear, out the other. But now that you bring it up, I do fully agree with you. These tires are starting to show their wear, and as much as it's a cloudy day here at Albert Park, so not necessarily the most tire wear that we're going to see here at the Australian Grand Prix. They're still going to be felt nonetheless, and like you said, this might be where we start seeing incidents, and here in the final 5 laps, things might all kick off once again, especially as drivers are maybe pushing to deal with the sort out gaps, pushing to close in on drivers and get those last few overtakes before the end of the race. Now, speaking of, we've got a little bit of a teammate battle here between Walsh Maldonado and Chris Nerazzurro, but looks as though Chris is defending a little bit. Mivako overtaking Demorts on track. Demorts falling down into 4th, and he's still staying out on those hard tires.
That's unbelievable.
Is he going to the end of the
puncture territory?
Yeah, is he going to the end of the race on those hards? I didn't realize.
He started in the back, so P4. If he can hold this off, that's an outstanding weekend from his point of view, you know.
Oh yeah, definitely. And crucially now, sitting in 4th, he's got 3 seconds to Cruz, who's in 5th. And if I switch back to the penalties, Cruz has 6 seconds of time penalties. Although Cruz is trying to defend Dark, I believe, for what I can only assume is maybe his life. But Demorts might be in a decent position here to get a nice finish. So as long as he can nurse this car to the end and not get caught up into any incidents here.
Chris Nerazzurro is racing Walsh Maldonado. It just seems weirdly too much, considering the tires and everything, and the penalties as well. It's a pretty questionable moves to defend the position for a teammate. So
yeah, I think maybe comms are off between teammates here, between Chris Nerazzurro and Walsh Maldonado, as I think it seems as though the Williams garage is just letting the drivers fight it out, but hopefully they don't end up ruining each other's races in the process, especially this close to the end of the race. But crucially, it seems as though the the tire wear, the pushing from Irish Snoot Potato has really bitten them in the butt a little bit, as Foxland now has a 4.6-second gap on those more used tires, just driving a bit more of a consistent stint than Irish Snoot Potato, who I think maybe pushing to close that gap up, but because of the extra pushing, starting to feel that tire wear just a little bit more than Foxland, who's now able to maybe let off the gas just a tiny little bit and coast, knowing that he's built that gap enough to Irish Snoot Potato to hold on to that potential lead by the end of the race, assuming there hasn't been another penalty, which it doesn't look like is the case. Now let's
get the move done finally.
Yep, I just switched over.
Oh my
goodness!
What the hell is? I'm sorry. I mean, that's your teammate, first of all, let alone another competitor.
Yeah, lots of bad blood brewing between the Williams. And this is crazy to see. The Williams going side by side. Finally, the move gets done as Welsh Maldonado up into 10th. And I feel as though this is maybe 2-3 laps too late for the move, as maybe some choice words in the Williams garage after this. As Welsh Maldonado had shown, I think she had a little bit more pace on those soft tires and lost a lot of wear trying to close that gap up, at least as far as the team game is concerned. But I think maybe in terms of even with Chris Nerazzurro leaves the session as it popped up there. So hopefully that's an internet connection issue for the other Williams driver and not just a leaving in frustration, as that is completely against the rules here of ISRL. Now here battling it out for the I'll be honest, for the wooden spoon, it's Efrom Tabone and Michael Fures. Efrom Tabone does get an overtake done, but Michael Fures on the 6-lap old soft tires making a strong push to take that position right back. But thankfully for both these drivers, as long as they keep it on the racetrack, by the time they cross the line, it's going to be guaranteed points for all of these finishers here. But now,
really worried about
my! Nope, that was actually the yellow flag for exactly what I was seeing. Cruz and Dark were battling it out here, but Dark was forced to go off track into turn 2, as I think the door was completely shut. I'm not too sure if Cruz shut the door or what had happened there, but Dark was forced off track, lost a lot of speed, and equally lost a position to his teammate, as Dark's in 7th, Vito in 6th, and we've got another yellow flag, because I think that's...
lost it out of 12.
Yep, so we're seeing those the tire wear really kick in here on the final few laps.
Baxter just took another penalty.
Oh no, at the worst possible moment as well, as he's about a lap and a little bit away, and there we go, Chris Nerazzurro joined back in, so I think it might have been a connection issue, just with the timing not being the best for him. But thankfully he is back in, and I think we'll be looking to complete this race. But now this has made things interesting once again, as the gap now, even though he took that time penalty, I don't think it mattered, as Irish Snoot Potato, once the gaps show right back up, was able to close that gap down to a 1.5 seconds now. So even though the penalty was taken, I don't think it mattered. Where it matters more is how much Foxland is going to fall down the order, as now Mivako might be in for a stronger finish as well, if he's able to keep consistent, as these top 3 are all very close to one another.
There's
and look
drop off right there. The tires have completely fallen off Foxland's car.
Yep, and look at that. Oh, the move is done. They're going side by side here through the corner.
Oh, and Irish Snoot Potato takes a penalty. This puts Mivako in a... Oh my god.
Oh my goodness, what is going on? I mean, Irish Snoot Potato gets the move done, and in theory, he is in a net P1 to Foxland. But if Mivako can get this overtake done and keep that gap close enough, we might see a bit of a change in the order. But Foxland still defending with his life. But look at this battle between the Ferrari and the Haas. No. Oh no, not what you want to have here on the 3 corners to the end. Some contact, that's some wing damage, and we'll have to see. I don't think it's going to be enough now.
Not gonna
Irish
be
New Potato
enough.
takes the win. Faxland in second. Mivako promoted up into second, but even some more
Mivako
controversy as
taken away from him. Oh man.
that win was.
Oh my goodness.
Yep, you saw that as well. I think that was Dark crossing the line in style, maybe in style and frustration of what could have been potentially with the overtake done. But we've got some drama here to end off the race as the potential first win for the Ferrari of Mivako taken away. As I think you saw something else there.
Yeah, it's just everybody having a bit of blast.
Oh, okay, yeah, just having some fun at the crossing the line at the end there, and there we go, waiting for. Yep, I was waiting for Ephraim Tabone to cross the line, but there we have it. That is the Australian Grand Prix for Division 2, and my oh my, what a race that was, and similar to maybe the Division 3 race, no shortage of controversy, especially with these front three at the end. And
we talked to them.
Yeah, I'd love to get their inputs, especially after the oh so close to the end. And I mean, I kind of wish I would have kept on the onboard of Mivako, but I switched over to the broadcasters cam just to just to get a bit of a better idea of where the drivers were. But I didn't quite get the best angle here in the broadcaster's cam, but there we go. I'll take us through the order. So at the end of the race on racetrack, it is Irish Nude Potato taking the victory here for the AlphaTauri team, with Mivako coming in second after driving a very clean race, with Faxland falling down into third, the final podium position for the Haas driver. Demorts in fourth, Vito in fifth, Cruz in 6th, Dark coming in 7th, Laparta in 8th, Jordan in 9th, and Welsh Maldonado crossing the line in P10, rounding out the top 10. Chris Nerazzurro in 11th, Synchro in 12th, Ephraim Tabone in 13th, Michael Fures coming in 14th, and then we have the DNFs of V-Mark, Lorenzo, Mats, and Krishna, who came 15th through 18th respectively. But oh my, that was absolutely crazy. And Demorts from 18th to 4th. I just noticed that right at the end.
Yeah,
but we have
I don't know how he didn't puncture his tire. Those things. I mean, he took those tires on lap 2.
Yeah, and I'm not too sure how he was able to make it to the end, but he did make it work for him and got a strong finish as well, and a candidate here for possible driver of the week. But I think we did get Mivako, who joined in for the post-race interview. So Mivako, I'm just going to check in first and foremost. Can you hear us at all?
Mivako. Oh, he's in game chat.
Oh no!
Let me just try and get a hold of him and let him know that.
Yeah, definitely, because I'd love to. I'd love to get his thoughts on that. I mean, I'll be honest, on that last lap incident there, and see what the Ferrari driver has to say about it. But here we go. Let's jump into the showroom. Let's put that Ferrari on screen, and hopefully we can get him into party chat, and hopefully we can get all these questions answered and more from the perspective of the Ferrari driver.
I'm gonna just jump into game chat real quick.
All right.
And let him know.
All right. And in the meantime, if I'm looking at the chat, Joseph Cozy, great job, Mivako. We still claim you in Division 3. I mean, we love. I know myself and Asunik, we love to rep the Division 3 drivers a little bit, being Division 3 drivers ourselves. But I'm happy to have Mivako in Division 2, given the pace he has. As much as it was fun watching him run away with the race last season, but definitely not showing any pace lost in Division 2. And like I said, hopefully we can get that. hopefully we can get that interview and get his perspective. And I don't think
Yeah,
anybody.
can we?
Sorry,
I really wanna know what happened there.
I do as
Coach,
well. Oh,
what's your take on it there, Mavako?
Well, I think I've been stolen the victory 2 times at the beginning of the Grand Prix. I have a brilliant start of P6, and just after we entered the third corner, I was side by side with Faxland, and the safety car came out at that moment, and he hit me. I get 5 seconds penalty, and he did not get any 5 second penalty, so that's also unfortunate from my side. And then on the last lap, I see them battling. I thought, yeah, there was going to be an easy pass, but no way. He just slammed the door. I just need to take avoid action, or it will be worse. But I was just.
Well, here's the thing, Mavako. Mavako, here's the thing, and this is gonna be crushing. Irish New Potato had just taken a 3-second penalty, and if you hadn't had that contact there in the literally third to last corner, that's your top step. So, did you know that in the incident?
I know it, but I was scared that Irish will get run away because Faxnet has some front wing damage, and it were 4 corners left, sorry. So I was just scared that he will have Irish cut the time that he needs, 3 seconds.
It was crushing. I gotta tell you, it was crushing. We saw you gain in there on D-Morts, but D-Morts was, like we said, on old tires, and all of a sudden, I didn't know if it was wing damage or not with Faxon, but Faxon just, either his tires or the wing damage, he just fell off a cliff. Then while those two were battling, you just closed that gap up so much in those closing laps, and I'm gutted for you, man. I really am. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Yeah.
But overall, like I believe this will extend your lead in the championship, because you do have the lead in the Division 2 championship. And coming from a guy that used to race with you, I love to see that, man.
Yeah, no, but a win is a win. It's also going to be my first victory here in Division 2, so yeah, I feel like a little bit broken right now.
Well, just understand that you showed today that easily, very easily, and possibly should have been you. So keep your head up, man, because that's a strong result. I know at the end of the day things happen, but that is a huge result for you and the team. So congrats again.
Thank you.
yep, congrats, and I mean, hopefully we can have you back in here next week with with a little bit of redemption for what happened this week, if I'm being honest. But I think Asunik, I don't think we had anybody else jump in for the post-race interviews. Am I missing?
I invited everybody, and unfortunately, they had better things to do except for Mavako. So
yep, I guess so. But
I like having a chat with Mavako.
Oh yeah, and I'm
get used to this.
I'll be honest. I mean, I would have loved to get Faxland's perspective as well. But if there was one to join, I'm happy we had Mivako to get at least a thought on the incident. I'm happy you covered that lap 1 safety car as well, because I was a little bit curious about what happened there with that 5-second. So thank you for making a mention of that. But I think honestly, Asunik, unless you have any final words, I think we're just about ready to wrap it up here.
Yeah, that's all I got. It was an awesome race. Not gonna lie, that was fun to watch. So thank you.
Yep, extremely fun to watch, and everybody at home, I hope you enjoyed it as much as we did, but thank you so much for tuning in. It was a fantastic race. I hope you all enjoyed it as much as we did, but that'll do it here for the Division 2 Championship here at the Australian Grand Prix, and I've been Fallen Monkeys, joined by ISRL Asunik, and make sure to tune in same time, same place for more racing action. Make sure to tune in about 40 minutes time for Division 1's take here at the Australian Grand Prix. And if the races we've had so far are any indication, you're in for a good one. And of course, thank you to IMB Racewear, thank you to Jackson Protection Agency, IFEA for supporting ISRL Esports and what we do. And of course, everybody watching at home, we could not be here without all of you. But on behalf of ISRL Sunic, I've been Fallen Monkeys. Thank you so much for watching, and we will see you all next time.